got tweakers, we'll play it on some grass or dirt. But turn down the volume on Dick and Bird. Fuck Dick and Bird! Fuck Dick and Bird! St. Paul admitting the law and life, and hitting rock bottom, drugs in the ex-wife. Fuck Dick and Bird! Fuck Dick and Bird! Fuck Dick and Bird! Fuck Dick and Bird! Fuck shit.
Hello and welcome to this thing we call Minnesota Foul Play-by-Play. I'm your host, Anthony Barriano, and we are joined by my favorite cousin and NBA 2K expert, Joel Barriano. Joe, how you doing?
I'm doing great, buddy. How about you?
I couldn't be better, man. Like, life is just, I'm so blessed. So blessed. I'll tell you why I'm blessed.
Because you get to talk to me.
Well, yes, of course that. But also, Forbidden Door was opened yesterday. Oh,
really?
God, the single greatest AEW pay-per-view event. Remember that pay-per-view we watched in your basement that one time when my mother was in town? I said, Mom, I can't see you from 7 o'clock to 11 o'clock because I got this thing going on called AEW New Japan Pro Wrestling Forbidden Door, the single greatest AEW pay-per-view event of the year, every year. Can I tell you about it? I know you didn't watch it.
I didn't see it. Sorry. No.
Okay. Well, here you go. You're going to find out at least a little bit of what happened. Who won? We all won, especially the almost 15,000 fantastic fans of Toronto, Ontario, Canada. Boy, what a great crowd. Fantastic crowd. They really love their wrestling up north. I had 5 people over to watch it, none of whom were into wrestling, but everyone enjoyed what they saw. And one match in particular got the party and the dancing started. There's the dance that split his pants on Wednesday, as Taz so eloquently said, of Daniel Garcia's dancing, which is terrible. But Daniel Garcia and Orange Cassidy and Zack Sabre Jr. and Katsuyori Shibata fought for the AEW International Championship last night. And spoiler alert, for me, the biggest winner at Forbidden Door was actually a loser. Zack Sabre fucking Jr. His mat prowess, his stretch'em technique, and attention to detail was on full display and played so well on television. I saw him live at a Las Vegas event, Game Changer Wrestling event, from the floor. But you know what? Mm-hmm. You got to have the television close-ups in order to appreciate what he does in the ring because it's so detailed.
Is he a technician or what?
Yeah, he will stretch your wrist to points where you just don't think that it looks like it hurts so badly. He did things to Orange Cassidy that he stretched him in a way I just don't think people ought to be stretched. This is why people do yoga, folks. This is I'm going to start doing yoga with my girlfriend as a result of watching that match because holy shit, I want to be able to stretch like that, baby. I don't want to end up like spraining an ankle and losing my tennis season or like, my golf swing, the 2 things that I actually do in the summertime that I actually enjoy. She's going to try and make me run a half marathon, and I think I'll probably do it for her, but that's beyond the point. Let's get back to some
wrestling. That sounds a horrible idea.
Let's start with the 5K, right? Oh, God.
Yep.
What we do for love. Anyways,
yeah.
while the New Japan Pro Wrestling World Television Championship champion didn't win the match, he and his opponents gave the fastest, the funnest, and the funniest performance of the night. And I suspect he'll benefit most from his performance, and deservedly so, because he was fantastic as usual. You're a lucky boy, aren't you? He said to Orange after defending the AEW International Championship he's held for more than 254 days. Expect a rematch between those two. It's got to happen. It was that fantastic. It wasn't quite on the Orange Cassidy Pac level, but it was still just really great stuff. Moving on. Every great pay-per-view needs a surprising heel turn, and Forbidden Door was no exception. It was reported that the IWGP World Heavyweight Champion Sonata didn't know who Jack Perry was. He's Luke Perry's son.
Yeah.
He got to know him a little, then, spoiler alert, finished him quick, as Hook remained hooded and subdued ringside, letting his sometime tag partner fight his own battle and then helping him up the ramp. After Perry fell to a knee, Hook pulled him up, raised his arm to cheers of the crowd, which quickly changed to boos. Spoiler alert, Jungle Hook is no more, as Jungle Boy delivered a giant lariat that severed their partnership and nearly the handsome head of Hook. Should make for a great storyline, yeah, and even a better match for the FTW Championship.
Well, I remember him from that David Arquette
Yeah.
thing we watched. Yeah.
Yep. He was there when David Arquette almost died. I think he was in the car on the way to the hospital.
Yep, he was in the car. Yep.
Yes, he was. Rumors are that WWE is very interested in signing Hook, who is the son of the human suplex machine, Taz, who didn't even finish the broadcast after that. Just kind of left. Yeah, so he's busted up.
Maybe it's a double thing. Maybe they're both going back.
I hope not, because I love Taz.
I always liked him as a commentary when I watched WWE.
The man needs to sing more often, I swear. He makes me laugh every time he sings. But don't be surprised if a Jungle Boy Jack Perry is the next FTW champion. If that contract happens, it would make sense for the championship to change hands. All right, well, let's get to the greatest match maybe that I've ever seen. Kenny Omega, Will Ospreay, Part 2. So lived up to the hype. And how it did, I don't know, because the first one is legendary. I almost bought the first one and regret not doing so after seeing what I saw on Twitter after the fact. Spoiler alert, we finally got pay-per-view blood. It took that long into the pay-per-view for someone to bleed, which was surprising because Jon Moxley was on the card. And I was serving Bloody Moxley's in his honor. I was serving Bloody Marys that we call Bloody Moxley's because I expected him to bleed, as everyone does in every single match that he does. Also, the single biggest eruption I've ever heard from a crowd, again, Toronto, Ontario, Canada, you fucking knocked it out of the park. In this match, spoiler alert, Kenny Omega kicked out of his finishing move at 1, his own finishing move, the One-Winged Angel. Kicked out at 1, and people lost their fucking minds, as did I, the second time I watched it. Not just the first, the second time. I said, oh my God! How? Later, his face received the entirety of a, spoiler alert, Tiger Driver 91. There were about a dozen moments during that match that just made you put your hands on your head and scream, oh my God! It was so great. All I can say is order the replay and watch it. Breacher Report Live. Get it done today. Fight TV for those of you who are maybe in Singapore, which seems to be a lot of people who listen to this podcast. Thank you, Singapore. And please give us a trilogy of that. We need Ospreay Omega one more time. It was the most competitive and electric match of the night, which is surprising given the dream match that was the main event, which didn't really stand a chance to follow Omega Ospreay. Just the technical wrestling it's not enough, you know. It doesn't work as a main event for me. Bryan Danielson, he's great, but it doesn't get me to scream, oh my God. And that's what Kenny Omega and Will Ospreay did. Only complaint, more women, please, especially New Japan Pro Wrestling women. Willow Nightingale might be the NJPW Strong Champion, but she shouldn't be the sole female representative of Rocha given her AEW contract. And the fact that she's not fucking Japanese. So that was really my only complaint, is that was the only women's the only women's match on the card. There was Billy Starks fought Athena in the Owen Hart Foundation Memorial Tournament, and lost. She's an 18-year-old who just graduated high school with as a valedictorian.
Wow.
And she's going to sacrifice that brilliant brain to wrestling and
get smashed in.
Thank you, Billy. Thank you. Also saw her live at that Game Changer Wrestling event in Las Vegas. Anywho, it was totally worth the $50. Whatever you got to pay to get the replay, you should watch it. It's fantastic. I'll probably watch it again. It was so good. It's easily the best pay-per-view event of the year for me. I don't subscribe to WWE. I don't know if I've said on this broadcast before, but WWE kind of treats their talent like shit. They are independent contractors. When you are signed to an AEW contract, you are a full-time employee, which means they contribute to your health insurance. So That's why I subscribe to AEW, and I couldn't be happier since. My life really turned around as a result of Tony Khan starting that promotion, and I'm just so thrilled that that went off so well. So yeah, that's all I got on the wrestling, folks. We're going to talk some basketball with the NBA 2K expert, Joel Mariano. And he knows his shit, folks, because he told you in the last episode that the most important thing that the Wolves had to do in this offseason was re sign Naz Reid, which they did for 3 years and $42 million. Woo!
14 mil a year. I told you, 12 to 14. He's going to get it.
In the immortal words of the greatest wrestler of all time, who's from around here, woo!
Woo!
The contract includes a player option, even, and allows Minnesota to avoid the struggle of matching contract offers in free agency that would have been granted in less than a week. So, Joel, what does it mean for the future of the Timberwolves given their cap woes?
Well, it's going to be, we are paying a lot for centers for sure.
He can handle the ball too, so he's not
You
necessarily
could put him at the 4. Yeah.
Right.
He usually plays backup though, but I love it. I said last show, like you just said, that we need to sign him back. I don't care if it's 14 mil and here, I think it's a little over 12 the first year, a little over 13 the second, and then 15 the player option, which for a backup getting 15 mil, most starters don't get 15 mil. So I don't see him opting out of that. But who knows? Maybe we do decide to move a center here or one of our bigger ones, and maybe that's the play all of a sudden. You never know.
Well, I mean, they have one more season to run it back before the hard decisions have to be made as a result of changes to the collective bargaining agreement, right?
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, I think so.
Karl Anthony Towns and Rudy Gobert. I mean, I guess they're going to probably roll with one or the other. I would suppose.
I would assume.
I would guess it's Gobert. Given their inability.
It'd be harder to move.
Yeah, it would certainly be harder to move, and it's basically abandoning all of those draft picks that you sent away in order to get him for what, 2 years, 1 year of his, the worst year of his career, and I mean, and they brought him in to defend because of Karl Anthony Towns' concrete feet, and so I mean, he seems like the guy who would stick around. Do you suspect that they'd even consider moving Karl during the season? Like, even if they're in a race for the playoff spot?
No, I think the GM's pretty committed to this squad for one more year. Yeah. I mean, if it all goes to shit, who knows? I mean, maybe the owners will start breathing down his neck and, hey, you got to get rid of this and make this work. So, but I don't see it happening. No. I mean, even in the playoffs, I feel like we played the Nuggets the best out of any of the teams.
Oh yeah,
and we were missing our best we're missing our best backup and our best perimeter defender. So
in a wide open West,
like to see.
Yeah, I think they've got a shot to knock off just about anybody. I'd say that, but I mean they have to be healthy.
With the development of Edwards and McDaniels, I'm just excited for that duo. I think that's who we build around. But I mean, Karl Anthony Towns still a talent. Gobert's still a talent. Yeah. I mean, they both had a down year, but I think they're going to have a nice bounce back.
I think so too. And speaking of building around youth, the Wolves still managed to ace the 2023 NBA draft somehow, despite holding only the 53rd overall pick. You said in the previous episode that the Wolves would trade up. You were targeting 26 from San Antonio, wasn't that right?
No, it was Indiana, 26 or 28.
Okay.
Or even their second round. I think they had the 32nd or 34th or something like that.
Well, they ended up trading with San Antonio for the 33rd pick to get a top 30 player in Leonard Miller, who's only 18 years old and 6'10". He's coming out of Canada. What can we expect from Miller going forward?
Well, I've been saying this about McDaniels since he's been in the league, that like the defense is there, but his offense, it's like he has it's intrigue. Like I see him as a shoe that needs to be tied up. Like tie all those laces and tie it up, and you'll figure it out.
Right.
I think he's one of those players that just needs to tie it all together and figure it out. I think he's great size. I mean, not a bad shooter, not a bad defender, not a bad passer. So, would you say he was 6'10"?
6'10".
Yeah. So, I
6'10"
mean,
forward out of Canada who's
6'10"
still
playmaker, that's fine with me.
not even
So,
19 years old. So
yeah,
obviously
time to
a ton
develop.
of time to develop, and
I
they've got McDaniels as a success story of their development
Mhm.
in
Oh,
the Iowa Wild
so
program, or
someone,
the Iowa Wild,
that
the Iowa Wolves.
it seems like he does a little bit of everything, kinda like Kyle. Kyle would be a good
Oh,
mentor
sure,
for this kid. Yeah.
yeah.
And
All
then
right,
I thought it was funny because last show I said that Kobe Jones from
yeah.
Xavier, he was the very next pick to the Hornets.
Oh, that's
So
right.
I was one off on that because we
Oh,
could use a combo guard to score or pass the ball. So
well, obviously they went with upside and ceiling here, right? Like
yeah,
they
for sure.
feel like this guy could be a regular
I
contributor,
You
and
got to do that when you trade all your picks away. So
right,
I wonder if we're going to sign him to a 3 or 4 year deal.
right
So when
away.
that comes out, well, yeah, we could. Now I think they switched it where you can sign them up to 4 years. The early second rounders. I don't know if it's every second rounder.
Oh, wow,
Yeah,
that's a
I
game
think they're
changer.
switching that. And I think they're switching that in the CBA to do a 4 year contract for second rounders.
Huh? I'll be
Hmm.
damned. So he can
And
just
then,
chill. He does not. He's not going to cost us a roster spot next season, so that's not a problem either.
mm,
So I mean,
yeah,
that's fantastic. I mean, I'm all for moving up to get something talented like that, especially when you're sitting with only the 53rd pick, which it seems like they did pretty well at 53 too
yeah,
with
yeah,
LA shooting guard Jalen Clark.
yeah. The GM really likes him. He said he had him as a first round talent the whole year.
Jesus,
Even
really?
when but then he went down with injuries, and he'll be out for most of the season, so they won't get much. But yeah, he's like our GM was just like, we had him as a first round talent the whole year. Even when he went down with injury, we're glad we got him at 53rd. So
And neither of these players are
seems
going to take a roster spot, so we can
well
maybe,
they'll be like the 14th and 15th, but
yeah,
whoop de doo, we only have 13 on the floor. Maybe they'll get minutes.
yeah,
But it seems like we've been ace in the second round. That Minot, everybody said he was a steal last year too. So
right.
maybe we'll see him get some minutes this year.
So were the Wolves one of the big winners at the draft compared to the rest of the league?
Oh no, I have quite a few winners. I liked a lot of people's drafts this year, but we didn't have much, so
Right.
for what we got for with not having anything, it was a pretty good draft for us.
It's like the Twins of the early 2000s playing small
Hmm.
ball with the lowest payroll and making the playoffs. That's like,
Yeah,
hey, we're in the World Series. Yay.
but we're the opposite. We have to hit home runs on these because our payroll is fucking outrageous.
I
So
know it's a
yeah.
big problem.
Hmm.
I mean, McDaniels is obviously the guy that they're going to throw the money at. Like,
Oh
they're
yeah, and Edwards
not
for
going to
sure.
give Carl Anthony the supermax. It can't happen. They
Well,
can't
they
have
already
the
did.
both
They
things can't happen though, right? Because it doesn't kick in until
but
after next season. The big money for
hmm
Carl. So
well, the big money for Carl's coming. Yeah, he's already signed.
yeah, but I
Hmm.
mean they got to trade somebody in order to stay under the cap or pay a
Oh yeah,
luxury
I
tax
mean,
bill up the wazoo.
I think they're like 58 million over already. So
Jesus
it's like
Lord.
ridiculous. Yeah.
Uh, I mean
Or
we're
maybe it's
spring.
even more. Maybe it's 158 million. I can't remember. I just saw a thing today that they're tied with Golden State Warriors cap space, which a freaking four-time champion, and
Right,
here we're lucky to make the
make the playoffs.
playoffs.
Yeah, I know.
Jesus
But
Christ.
it's every team in Minnesota that's like that too. I mean,
Hmm.
except the Twins.
Hmm.
The Wild cap issues. I
Hmm.
read on the Athletic that they're 30th out of 32 teams in cap situation.
Ooh,
Is
jeez.
about as bad as you can,
That
almost
is
as bad as you
pretty
can.
terrible.
Yeah, and then you got the Minnesota Vikings who just jettison their entire every defender,
Yeah.
every corner, every DB they had
Cook.
basically. Yeah,
Cook.
now, I mean,
What
I
the
can
hell are we
understand
doing?
that. Now I can understand getting rid of Cook because
Mhm.
his money's too much. And actually, if you look at what Madison does in just with his short gains compared to
Mhm.
what Cook does with his minus gains, his negative gains, and his long gains, you're better off going with the guy that gets you positive yardage more often because then you're not in third and long all the time, and it makes it
Oh yeah.
opens up the playbook a little bit more. So no, I understand that deal. I mean, shit. they got major issues, man. We went like an entire month of doing this show and wondering who the fuck was going to play cornerback for us. We're like, we don't have any cornerbacks on the team. Who's going to play? Well, we got those 2 rookies who were injured all year last year. I was like, again, who's going to play cornerback? We haven't seen these guys play. I mean,
yeah.
And then, but I mean, the only thing that really got me through all that was we got Brian Flores, and that man knows how to play defense. He knows how to turn shit into diamonds.
That's our defensive player of the year, right there.
Absolutely. That was our biggest offseason pickup. The Vikings not going to suck next year. Mostly because I think the NFC North is going to be a lot like the AL Central. Just terrible teams.
Yeah.
Detroit will be our only competition, and I think they're going to have a fallout this year.
Well, it seems like that Goff has a on and off season, so I think he'll have an off season this one.
Yeah, he played way too much. There's no way their receivers are that good. They can't be, but they might be that good against our secondary. We'll find out. Anywho, let's hear some of your winners from the NBA draft outside.
Oh hell,
of the
I got a
Wolves.
list here.
Okay.
Well, the Houston Rockets, they drafted Amen at floor. Remember, I told you the trade. He
and
went
then
at 4.
His brother went right after.
Yeah, his brother went right after the Pistons. Yeah, that's the first time that's ever happened.
Oh, yeah.
Top 5 brothers. But Cam Whitmore, they had pretty high on their board all season, the Rockets. Here they get him at 20. But I heard a lot of GMs were saying that he has they don't think he cares about playing.
Oh, he's an Andrew Wiggins?
Or Ben Simmons, yeah. But, I mean, I was shocked that a lot of people passed on him. If that was the characteristics of them not drafting him, how does he not go to a freaking like a Heat that's going to knock that out of you, or a Lakers or Warriors? They all had picks right before the 20th, and they didn't take this kid. So I mean, they had Cam Whitmore, like a top 5 prospect. So I mean, all the mock drafts I seen, it was either him or Amen at 4, and here they get him at 20. So they get both their guys that were on those mock drafts.
That's
so
scary.
that was something. Yeah, that was something that I liked. I was like, good job, Rockets. Well, I just got to throw the Warriors in for getting CP3 and getting out of Poole's contract.
Sure.
I think that's a big win.
Yeah.
The Mavericks moving back 2 spots and cutting money, getting the trade exception to pick up Holmes, and then drafting the player they wanted to get, that other center. So their center spot's locked up.
They've got so much cap space now.
No. They just got a huge trade exception, and they got available. They got like a $17 million trade exception, which they absorbed. They absorbed Rashard Holmes from the Kings, and they got the 24th pick for taking on Holmes' money with that trade exception. But then they opened up the mid-level, the $12 million mid-level exception, so they can go after a player for that. Yeah. So I thought that was hella good job for the Mavs.
Veteran player they'll need in order to make the playoffs too, with the mid-level, right?
Yeah. You got to get a defender, even though that 24th pick I think was a defender. I can't remember his name, but they got Lively from Duke.
Nobody's a defender coming from college into the pros.
They got Lively from Duke for their center spot, and then they picked up Holmes, who was a decent undersized defender, undersized center that could defend. But the Kings, they didn't make the draft pick at 24, but they attached it to Holmes and opened up that money like I told you they should.
Yeah.
So that's to be determined. I have them as a winner for opening up the space, but how are they going to spend it?
Ellie, they're going
how are they going to spend it?
Last year.
I have the Magic on my list because I like that Anthony Black. I think he's going to be fun to watch. 6'7" point guard, and they got a lot of young kids. They're going to fly up the floor. Yeah. I think it's going to be exciting to watch. But I didn't like the Jet Howard when Grady Dick was on the floor. They were going to add a shooter. I thought Grady Dick was the best shooter in the draft, and he went, I think, 3 spots after that. So that was one thing I didn't like with the Magic. But overall, I thought they did good. Pacers, I thought they did good. They moved back 1 spot and still got that Walker. They traded with the Wizards, moved up 1 spot. I don't know what they got from the Wizards, but they got the guy they wanted, 1 spot back and something back from the Wizards.
Yeah, a little something extra.
And then they drafted maybe a microwave scorer at 26, and that Ben Shepherd. And then I have one loser.
Just one?
And it's the Trailblazers. What are they doing? Do something.
They're moving Damian Lillard.
I don't know what the hell they're doing. Yeah. But then,
or
I
they're
have
trading
another.
for Bam Adebayo. I don't know
Yeah,
what
maybe.
is what. Yeah,
Yeah,
I don't know. They
but
can't do. They got to do one or the
have
other.
you heard anything? Maybe
No, I've
they
been
want
listening
Bam.
to the Miami. Well, yeah, that's been the rumor is that they want Dame to finish his career in
Mhm.
Portland and
Bam would be a hell of
actually
a
go
pickup.
for it. Well, yeah, you would think so, but I
He's one of
still
the better defenders in the league. Yep,
it
at
still
center spot.
it still doesn't make them a championship contender in my book, though. Does it for you?
Well, if they bring back Grant, Sharp has another season, and if they use their mid level for another talent, I mean, they still have little. They could still move Simmons for somebody. I mean, but I don't know. It
I
seems
mean,
like they hit their peak when they hit the Western Conference Final, and it's been
yeah.
downhill since. So I don't know. And then other losers, just because of the trade today, uh, is free agents. They did you hear about the John Collins trade to
No,
Utah for
no.
Rudy Gay and a second round pick? I mean, this guy was a first round talent, goes to Utah, fits the 4 spot perfect for him, and eat up some of their cap space. So I put losers as the free agents. I mean, all these teams are taking on money. Oklahoma City had money, took on money. These free agents that are looking more for the mid-level exception, that 12 mil, they might not get it. I mean,
Right.
I don't see the Spurs dropping big money on just crappy players. So I see it as the teams with cap space taking on bad contracts and picks over signing anybody.
Who are the best free agents available right now?
I mean, Fred VanVleet,
Oh, that's right.
Kyrie, Harden, but I wouldn't want either of those guys.
No.
I'd rather pay Fred VanVleet or
Yeah.
Fred VanVleet 30 mil than Harden or Kyrie. I'm trying to think of who else. Grant, I really like Jeremy Grant, but and then I have a little thing where what I like to see what the Kings do with their cap space. They could go after Jeremy Grant. They could go after freaking Draymond Green, who would fit their team perfectly.
Oh, that ain't
Put
happening.
him next to Sabonis. I mean,
Pool's money means Draymond's coming back to Golden State.
I hope so. I like them keeping their core together. They say they want to sign Clay, even though he's had 2 down years. They still want to bring him back because they like
He's
to
not
keep
the
that
same
intact.
man, is he?
He's not. He's not. But I'm a Clay fan.
I mean, I am
And then,
too. I wanted him to be a Timberwolf for a long time, and now I
oh
wouldn't
yeah,
take him if you paid me to.
oh no, I'd still take him for his veteran leadership, but it's
Well, yeah,
getting Carl Anthony Towns money up.
his shooting hasn't been as good either, and that shouldn't
Well,
be
yeah.
something that fades away as a
Well, when
result
you
of that
come off
injury.
of his injury, I mean,
Oh, it's still a
because it was
leading
his
injury.
Achilles and that,
Yeah.
yeah. But yeah, and then we'll see what the Trailblazers or what are they going to do. So, but that's pretty much what I got. How about you? You have
10-minute
anything?
warning. I depend on you to provide the people with the
Oh,
expertise, Joel. You are
oh,
the NBA 2K expert. I am just
oh,
a women's
but yeah,
basketball fan.
but no. For the Timberwolves, we still need a point guard. So I don't know how much of the
Right.
mid level we got. I don't know if we have access to the 12 million. We might have access to the smaller one, which I don't know how much that is. But trading for a point guard, like I said, TJ McConnell
Yeah.
last time.
Yep.
My cousin is huge on Cole Anthony, which the Orlando Magic
Yeah.
just drafted another point guard, and they said, well, if we
He's
draft a
available.
point guard, we're gonna either move Cole Anthony or Jalen Suggs. So I wouldn't want Jalen Suggs, but Cole Anthony be a nice little microwave scorer. I don't think he's much of a facilitator, but
What is a
my
microwave
cousin's
scorer? Somebody who scores a bunch of points in limited
yeah,
minutes?
limited minutes microwave scorer. Yeah,
I like that a lot. That's
hmm
a good little moniker.
yeah. So he would be a nice pickup, but yeah, I would like somebody with a little more playmaking that can set the table for everybody.
Right.
But my cousin Ryan is huge on Cole Anthony. So
Again, we got to get your
it's
cousin on the show.
Greg Anthony's son. Remember the Knicks?
Yep. Sure
Yep.
do.
But I think he has 1 year left of his rookie deal, so we'd have to sign him after this year too. So that's why I kind of don't want to trade for him.
Oh,
But
sure.
I have to bring that up. If my cousin ever watches this, I'll have to tell him that I brought him up. But no, I'm trying to think of other losers. But I mean, yeah, I thought just the Trailblazers. Like, what the hell are you doing?
I don't know that they know what they're doing yet.
I guess I'd throw the Thunder in too, just because they took on the cap because they switched with the Mavericks. They moved up to 10, but they took 17 million off their cap. It's like, how long are you going to rebuild for? It's like you're right there.
They've
Why
been
not?
perpetually rebuilding since Kevin Durant.
Yeah. So it's just weird to me. But
But I mean,
that
there are teams in all sports. I
they
mean,
have an MVP. Shy's an MVP candidate on their team. I mean, I just don't get it. They have a nice young roster. You could add. I still think they have enough to add somebody, but it's just like, holy
you think
smokes,
maybe
make a move.
the owner doesn't
That's the
have
only
any.
reason I'm putting him as a loser. Make a move.
You think maybe it might have something to do with the fact that the owner doesn't have any interest in actually winning games, but just making money?
No, maybe. Oh, that's a
I
good
mean,
take.
Pittsburgh did that has been doing that for 30 years. So, I
Yeah.
mean, and a lot of these billionaires use these teams as just a tax write-off. They take a loss and then they,
Hmm.
it allows them to not pay taxes on the rest of their businesses.
Yeah. And then I guess the other one, like I mentioned last time, you get Alexander Walker on a deal. I mean, we could offer him his qualifying offer, but with Noel hitting free agency, let's bring him back. I mean, nice little two. He shot, I think it was like 38, 39% from three. Played good D on Jamal Murray. I mean, I know it was limited minutes, but he'll have more time with Noel out the door. So
All right, so let's go back to the Wolves. All right, so
okay.
we've got the guy who can defend well, who can contain. Can you contain Nikola Jokic? Can Rudy Gobert be that guy?
No.
But we played the Nuggets.
Not many players can do that. I think Bam would have had the best chance, and he smoked Bam in the finals.
Really, you think Bam is the best defender that Nikola Jokic is going to see in the NBA?
At center spot, yeah. If
Huh.
Anthony Davis is healthy, maybe Anthony Davis. Rudy Gobert, I think, I don't know. I mean, he was putting up 40 on him. It's just
Rudy
like,
doesn't usually get stretched out to the 3-point line.
yeah, that's why it's terrible. And then you can't put Cat on him because he's got cement for feet. So
Well, maybe you put Cat on him.
Naz would be the best matchup. I would put Naz on him.
Yeah.
A little quicker, can switch out to the perimeter. I mean,
Right.
if Naz would lose like 20 pounds because he's like 6'9", 264. I mean, he won't get bullied around, but it's just he does a hell of a job on the perimeter for being how big he is.
Yeah, but isn't he considered to be slim for his size?
Yeah, unless they're lying about his weight, but yeah, last time I heard it was 6'9", 264 pounds.
That is heavy.
Yeah, but he moves well for
really well for 264 pounds. That cannot be his weight.
I don't know if that's accurate, but that's the last time I saw it. But
holy cow!
So hopefully he drops a little bit of weight. But yeah, I like that matchup.
I do too.
I would take Naz on him over anybody.
And then you still got Rudy
on our roster.
I mean, you force Nikola Jokic to either
or I'd throw Kyle on him. I'd go small and throw Kyle on him. At least Kyle will defend the perimeter better than any of our bigs.
It's going to take at least two all the time.
Well, I mean, even when Anthony Davis was on him for the Lakers, I mean, a shot blocking machine, he hit that shot where he just like, I'm just going to throw it up and hit it. It's like, there's nobody going to guard him. He's freaking amazing.
Nikola White Bread Jokic. Just the boringest game
the
you'll
Joker.
ever see. But
yeah,
the greatest
he reminds me of Tim Duncan. He reminds me of Tim Duncan.
Big fundamental, absolutely.
Yeah.
Except for Tim Duncan ain't doing like touch passes with one hand or fucking.
No, yeah.
The guy's passing ability is not just good as far as centers go. It's as good as anybody's ever passed a basketball in the game. Like Pete Maravich is probably like, holy shit, this guy's better than I am at passing the basketball.
Yeah, maybe only Magic.
Eyes in the back of his head. He can shoot over everyone. I guess Naz Reid, again, the biggest offseason, acquisition that the Wolves would have this year, and they got it done. So
that would be our best chance against them, I think. So
right. I mean, if you've got all the everybody healthy, you got McDaniels to help on the perimeter too. Maybe you run McDaniels.
I would like to see him on. I'd like to see him on Murray.
Yeah.
I would like that assignment. I mean, he's quite taller than Murray. I think Murray could push him around a little bit because he's kind of light, but
Well, and Murray's got the
but he
first
would.
step on him probably too.
Well, yeah, but he's got the length to recover, so I would like to see that matchup. But if we're
So
talking about the
basically,
champs, but
the Wolves actually they're just building a team to beat the Nuggets, aren't they?
yeah, and the guy that built the Nuggets is our GM,
Right.
so it kind of makes
He
sense all the
knows
moves he's
knows
doing.
who the best
Mhm.
is, and I
Who he
don't.
drafted in the second round was Joker, and here he's
Yeah,
nailing the last. Minot got a high grade.
it's a
These
very
two
good
guys got
point.
a high grade. I mean,
Yeah.
it's like, yeah, hell, I don't need my first rounders. Get these out of here.
Give me Rudy Gobert. What the
Yeah,
hell?
yeah. I'll take
Uh,
Rudy Gobert. You take all my first rounders. I got
right.
all these second rounders.
I
Hell, Joker was
picked the
drafted during a
MVP.
Taco Bell
Yeah,
commercial.
I picked
Yeah, a
the
two-time,
MVP in the second
three-time
round.
MVP.
Should have been
Should have
3-time.
been.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Fucking
that just blows
Embiid.
my mind. I've never seen Embiid getting it. A freaking superstar whining for an MVP before.
Yeah.
It just blew my fucking mind. And then I still believe they had to give it to him because they're switching it in the CBA that you have to play 65 games and he doesn't remain healthy.
Yeah.
This was the last chance to give it to him, and it's
Well,
just the
they
NBA.
just like to change things up.
Yeah.
It's just bullshit.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, we're at the
just-
2-minute warning. You got anything else you got for us on the NBA?
No. Anything
All right.
else on the AEW?
AEW, NJPW. On that front, I would say that I'm really looking forward to Wednesday night. I'm gonna skip AEW and go out to bingo and ladies' night with my lady. And holy shit, what has happened to me? I would have never,
And
ever skipped
I'm
the Dynamite.
Here I'm chewing out my wife on podcasts. Yeah, you're such a
It's
wimp.
Tony time, bitch. Get off the fucking phone. I'm trying to call my favorite cousin, motherfucker.
Yeah. Oh, that's funny.
Oh, God. All right. Well, this has been Minnesota Foul Play-by-Play. I'm your host, Anthony Variano. I'd like to thank my favorite cousin and NBA 2K expert, Joel Variano, for joining us and giving us the insight on the NBA. And we look forward to seeing you again. Come back and see us at Minnesota Foul Play-by-Play on YouTube, at Minnesota Foul Play-by-Play on TikTok, and you can find us at GoGonzoJournal.substack.com and wherever you get your podcasts. Love you, Joel. Thank you.
Love you, buddy. Toodaloo.
Bye.